I'm muchelleby, and this video is on 5 productivity hacks to stop feeling like you're not achieving anything and start actually getting things done. This is a really exciting video because it's a collaboration with Sarah Nurse. Such a babe. Sarah makes videos on intentional living, inspiration, travel. A lot of you have probably heard of her. I think it's so important to learn how to actually be a productive human. Somehow this isn't taught in schools. So this video is filled with actual ways that you can up your productivity, starting with Number 1, the 80-20 rule. Applying the 80-20 rule is just an awesome way to simplify your productivity and just achieve more in a shorter space of time. So essentially the 80-20 rule, also known as, I think, the Pareto principle is what it's called, is a rule that says 80% of your outcome is produced by 20% of your input. So pick the goal that you're trying to achieve or the area of your life you're trying to work on, the project that you're trying to complete, then focus on the 20% that brings the most value or pushes you forward the most. Then work on minimizing the rest. For example, there are a whole ton of ways to grow and build a thriving YouTube channel. Here are 10 of those ways in front of my face. It depends on your channel, your influence, your niche, but only 20% of these 10 things will actually produce 80% of your outcome. That 20% to me is planning, filming, and editing new content, and collaborating with other YouTubers. 2 of probably the best ways to grow your YouTube channel. Some of the other things on that list are good and should be considered, but if you concentrate the majority of your time on those 2 things, you'll achieve a ton more than spreading all your energy across those 10 things. Because you can do a whole bunch of things, you can do all the things on those lists and feel like so productive, and you're like, yeah, I've been busy, I've been doing things, but like when it comes down to it, it's all about the outcome that you get from the energy that you put in. And the 80-20 rule makes sure that you're actually paying attention to the important stuff, because nothing's going to make you more unproductive than doing so much and not seeing any results. My second tip is to do the worst thing first, single focus, and finish it in full, otherwise known as eating the frog. By doing the worst or most important thing first, you'll feel on like a freaking high after you complete it, because you'll be like, yes, like I've already kicked ass today, I've already done that one big thing that I really didn't want to do. Don't let yourself think about it enough to procrastinate, and you'll be ready to kill it for the remainder of the day. So my next productivity tip is to create a productivity zone for yourself. By creating a little like productivity bubble, you can almost create like a state that your body and your brain will recognize as like your time to be productive. So you can create your zone by like lighting a candle, putting on certain music, or even better, have like a certain space in your room where you only do productive things. Next up, brain dump in context. As humans, we can only process, I think it's 9 pieces of information at one time. If you have 50 things to do and you haven't captured all of them on some sort of brain dump list, you're gonna sit there trying to be productive and thinking about all the other things that you have to do, then getting overwhelmed and then not completing the task that you're supposed to be doing. I try to do this once a week, or whenever I'm feeling just really overwhelmed with life. Open up the getting things done trigger list and just do a massive brain dump of absolutely every little thing that I have to do in every single area of my life. I'd also recommend going through this list in sprints. So I know my list is usually like made up of annoying little things like clean my car, return that item to that person, pick that thing up from the chemist. Have like an hour every Friday night or something like that where you just literally go through that list and like tick everything off as quickly as you possibly can. My 5th productivity tip, which I preach all the time, is to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Kind of a gross metaphor, isn't it? My big thing on this channel is focusing on baby steps. Baby steps in changing how you live and act. Baby steps in being productive and getting things done. Imagine if you had a task for today that was declutter my room. That literally means nothing. Like it means zilch in terms of actionability. You know what I mean? It's the big overarching task or the elephant. I can break that task down into a chunk. Declutter my clothing. Then I can break that down into very small bites to something more like choose guiding questions that I'll ask while going through my clothes. Take all of my clothing out of its normal space. Hold each item and ask the guiding questions, etc, etc. My advice is to break the steps down so that they're so small that you don't feel any mental resistance to doing them. So if you start to put all of these practices into place, start doing them regularly, as well as Sarah Nurse's, which I will link in the description down below, which I equally wholeheartedly am behind, I guarantee that you will start to feel less busy, less overwhelmed, and you'll start to see yourself getting things done. Don't forget to check out Sarah's video in the description. I can guarantee it will be fabulous and you'll love it. And subscribe to her channel as well. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel. Do all of the things. I appreciate you so much and I will see you soon.